this in front of me. See lovely chat, saying all the nice things and being really nice to the people and not spending their channel points for making things worse for you. Except when they do. And then
I'm just hoping for a word you can't say.
Oh, I know lots of those. You want me to list them?
No, not the ones that'll get me banned.
Thank you, George Carlin.
The award that people can do to make me not say things for like 5 minutes. Say a particular word for 5 minutes.
psionics.
Mental activities. Midnight powers. No,
Burning door.
Burning. Can't say the word burning.
I'll say the word door.
Can't say the word door. You knock on the door. Oh no. Boop, there we go.
Oh, the information assembly. Okay, that's what they're the assembly.
Or the assembly
Hello,
information before declaring it free.
everyone. This is the Electric Metropolis video game tour. I'm AD Springer, also known as Corbinian, and this is yet another episode of Halanak Station, a Star Trek Adventures TTRPG tale. We have much to worry about, much to fix, and otherwise an entire ship full of people are about to be chopped up. But we are going to open with a log from the Captain of Stars, Station Commander of Halanak Station.
Okay. Captain of the Stars and Acting Commanding Officer of Halanak Station's log. Stardate 60570.1. To record this all for posterity is a very Starfleet notion. One time, while trapped on what appeared to be a doomed shuttlecraft on a doomed shuttlecraft that was trapped in a spatial anomaly, I was confused and asked the Starfleet officers why they kept recording logs despite the dismal chances of us getting out. From my point of view, I thought either we got out and we would live to tell the tale, or it wouldn't matter anymore. They told me they recorded these things explicitly for posterity so that others may know of what happens to them if they don't. I believe that might be true, but I also think they record these things because it's a helpful and useful way to express your thoughts in a clear manner and plan ahead and release your worries so that you can now focus on problem solving instead of worrying. At current, I have a lot of problems to solve. A new species of aliens have made contact with us. They are of a sort of vampiric nature in how they feed on other organisms. This has riled up quite a few of the N theory, and they almost shot down the USS Da Vinci as it re-entered Halanak Station airspace. Needless to say, this diplomatic incident has been an embarrassment for everyone involved, and if there is a higher power out there, I hope they take punishment on people for acting in such an immature and childlike manner. Other than that, the investigation into whether we managed to back up, we managed to settle down the in theory by saying we would delay any summary executions until after an investigation was made to determine if these beings truly are the monsters the in theory think they are. That investigation is ongoing, being headed by my trusty harmonizer Kovac. I have not received any recent updates on it, so I do not know if it's succeeding. One can only hope. Other than that, I have received several strange reports from the Da Vinci. There's been an outbreak of plague or some kind of illness on there, some kind of psychic illness, perhaps? It's rather unclear. They have several officers in quarantine, including several senior officers, such as the captain and chief science officer, and while investigation continues, it's an incredibly inconvenient time for these people to be taken out of commission. I can only hope they won't be needed to help us navigate the diplomatic crisis ahead. Hands block.
And with that, it is a 2-threat game at the moment. We are going to shift over to Station Ops of Halanak Station. Captain of Star Serena in the command chair or command position. You are in. You've just in your log, and you have been informed by the medical staff aboard station that Rear Pend is waking soon. And he has finally been treated of his condition. You also, of course, have you have yet to call the Da Vinci since you last heard from them. You got some of the updates from like the automated systems, but you haven't spoken with Centurion either. So I leave it to you as to which hurdle you wish to slime. I was gonna say jump over, but you're a slime, so flow through, I suppose.
Yeah, we don't jump over hurdles. We kind of shrink ourselves down and navigate under them. Yes. I want to go into Captain Penn's meeting with the most possible information. So I will, I will send a request to the Da Vinci to receive an update on what's going on as soon as possible.
Yeah, the Da Vinci gets hailed. I imagine that brings up the good. We'll go over to the Da Vinci on that. Oop.
Oh boy.
So, you are hailed by Halanak Station Centurion.
Yeah, on screen.
Commander Rylo, or excuse me, Centurion Rylo. I must inform you of some greatly important news. Would you like to talk in private or aboard the ship? This is not classified, but I do not know how you will want to respond to it.
If nothing is classified, then you may speak freely here.
Very well. I have just been informed by Station Side Medical that the Captain Pend, or the Admiral Pend, is now awake. And knowing him, he's going to request a debriefing on everything that's going on right now. And, well, I wanted to inform you because I did not know if you wanted to be present for that or not.
Normally I would say yes, but given the current circumstances of the ship, I believe it prudent that I remain at my post.
Very well, then. May I ask what the current circumstances of the ship are?
At your chair, Centurion, you notice there's a flashing alert in blue, indicating some sort of medical emergency that the computer's trying to tell you about, but it recognizes you're in a call, and it's trying not to just blare it across subspace.
Yeah, so I'm guessing he can like press that, pull up on a pad or something, or like the little ARM console just to see what it is.
Yep.
Or is it a voice thing?
You can make it text. You can tell it to go to text and put it into a pad or into the little chair console.
Yeah.
So. Oh right. I'd forgotten this bit. So, as I recall, Kovic was going to medical to try to investigate what was going on over there.
Oh shit, he was.
Yeah, I'd kind of already done that because I can't obviously get into medical, but I communicated to them the information I'd gotten from the Harbingers about what was coming through and that it was contained and that they had to keep it contained.
That's where you learn the same thing the Centurion does, because a big flashing, the quarantine on either side of the door, where there's normally the big flashing quarantine, like stay out, this is a quarantined area, the door is shielded, do not try to open, you know, the standard thing you would do if it's trying to warn any random passenger, hey, don't come in here.
Right.
The lights shift, and then you notice that blue lights start flashing along the walls, and the computer starts directing you to evacuate the deck as the quarantine area is expanding.
Okay. I'm gonna hot-foot it back to my mysterious women.
And Centurion Rail, if you notice, the reason it's done this is because you were informed by the computer, as the now acting as the executive officer of the ship, that the computer has recognized that the medical areas, all medical staff in the main med bay are incapacitated. As such, the automated medical system has kicked in and is now rendering medical assistance. And other medical personnel have been informed of the situation. As per protocol, the quarantine is expanded to the entirety of the deck, but they are giving time for people who weren't from that deck to evacuate. So someone like Kovic and some other people who happen to be passing through the deck but weren't there. But they're expanding it, not because anyone's been hit, but because the computer recognizes that containment might be lost from the med bay, and it's like, well, we'll just lock down the whole deck automatically. You can override it, because right now you don't have a CMO anymore. That CMO is currently is incapacitated. But that's what the automated medical system is telling you it's trying to do, and that's why it's moving people out of there. And that's why you got to alert immediately, because it has to tell the next ranking officer medically. Well, it's telling you two things: one, the medical issue, and two, your CO is now incapacitated.
Yes. I mean, I was about to say with my medical skill of 1 that I remembered that Rylov's best friend was a medical officer, and she would kill him if he didn't have a medical score of at least 2, which he does. But either way, he's not going to override the medical protocols in place at the moment. But he'll just look at that and just be like, an entire deck of this vessel is under quarantine, medical staff and the captain are incapacitated. Not all medical staff, but a significant portion. The cause is as of yet unknown.
Okay, you have a crisis on your hands. I understand that. I will take up no further amounts of your time. If you need anything from the station, let us know.
Operations will keep you appraised, as best we are able to do so.
Very well. Godspeed, Centurion.
If there is any additional information that the in theory happen to have on record about our guests, if you could acquire that for us, it would be appreciated.
I will ask.
That is all I would have for you, Captain of the Stars.
Very well, Centurion. I wish you the best of luck. And she will cut the comm.
Okay. We'll cut back to station ops. New scene, technically, but there's no momentum on the table.
Oh, look, there goes nothing.
Yeah. Oh, you have your update, Captain.
Yeah. Okay. In that case... In that case...
Zero expression change, by the way, from reading that. Just, like, glances down. Looks at her again.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, Kovic's hauling ass to get to a turbo lift when the deck shuts down.
Yeah, we're like cutting between you peacefully, like sipping on your coffee, reading the note, and him scrambling to run as fast as he can to the turbo lift.
Actually, I'll throw one thing out now that I think of it. Fitness, medicine, difficulty 0. You'll make it to a turbo lift, but if you make it extra fast, that'll add some extra momentum because you'll get out of there and allow the deck to evacuate a lot sooner.
Ah, yes, so you want it to be not there goes nothing, but there goes something.
Yeah,
We need
you might have
a
something.
Jones scene where like you almost lose your hat, like your big dusty gumshoe hat, and then you grab it just as the door closes.
Right,
If there's
right.
a complication, he doesn't grab the hat. He's lost the hat for the rest of the episode.
Right. laughing murder as a focus, the martial art.
Yep, I'll take it.
Okay. Take a threat for a third die. Let's see if we can't make some sort of momentum here.
He's having a healthy chuckle as he runs.
The Kovac who laughs.
It's considered a breathing exercise.
Well, you had one, but you lose it.
Yeah. He's smoking while he runs.
Captain Sarserena, your station.
So I've been told. Okay. I would like to. Who on earth do I call? Okay, I will call the station medical department, and what I want them to do is ask for them to crawl through their medical records about anything to do with the beasts of Entheory past, and see if they know anything about any illnesses they might cause, because an outbreak of some mysterious illness has happened on the Da Vinci, and it's very serious and they need help.
You can either activate a support character to that end, or you can roll for the station. The downside is like just having the station roll on its own, that representing the generic staff and computing power of the station. The downside is you can't buy dice for the station. The station just is its baseline.
It just is, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is difficulty 2 either way.
Okay.
And specifically, if it's just the station assists if it's people, and if it's just the ship, just the station. It's something else. So it would be computers plus medicine is the station, whether it's assisting or it's the main roller.
Yeah, okay, I'm just looking. I believe we have a medical officer. We have, do we?
You do.
What station?
Yes,
Callus.
Callus. Okay, I will activate Callus.
How Callus
Okay.
is-
You said reason medicine diff 2?
What's this person?
Yes, the tentacle monster.
Hey. that's
Savix
not what-
cast.
Yeah.
Sorry, was that a mistranslation?
The tentacle
Yeah,
monsters are things that eats them. That's different.
No,
So that was just-
they take offense to that. You're supposed to call them vine monsters. They don't have tentacles.
Also, don't call them shambling mound either. They don't appreciate that either. But yes, Dr. Dresian Callus. It's gonna
Oh
be
boy, who has nothing for this. Oh god, a focus in xenobiology because it relates to the biology of the end theory. That's all I've got.
It's worth a reach. Oh, sorry, diff 2. I didn't type that out. My bad. Reason. Yeah, reason med.
So, are you taking it?
I'll take it. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe in theory, diseases communicate in some fashion.
1 threat, 2 threat.
I mean,
Oh my god.
Plus station.
Oh, yes, that's also me. Like Jeffrey Combs, I'm playing every role today.
2, 3, and
Oh,
4.
I rolled the wrong thing. I'm sorry. You asked for computers.
Would 14 have made it either way?
Yes, because
You're good.
it's the same number.
Generate 2. Dr. Callus is able to inform you that they're able basically to call the Da Vinci and ask its medical computer what is happening, and then the medical computer is able to talk back and give them a sealed medical report, and they can examine it and try to figure out and compare and stuff. According to your medical according to Dr. Callus, this is whatever they're suffering from is a novel disease. This is not something the Free Information Sphere has encountered before.
That's what I didn't want to hear, but I'll take it. In that case, I will offer the services of Dr. Callus and her medical team to the Da Vinci if they so need it. That is up to that is up to Commander Thralic to decide, but the offer has been made.
No, it's up to Ralph to decide. She's unconscious.
Oh wait, that's what I meant. Sorry.
The Centurion.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm. Yeah. Okay, that's what I meant.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, the offer has been made, and then I am going to seek Pent.
All right.
I will keep it in mind. That's going to be a, if we need them, we'll call them up. But at the moment, nah.
New scene as you descend down into medical. Rear Admiral Pend. You, a quick summary of what you went through when you saw Jaishu. She had been, I imagine there was some excitement, some relief at first. And then, it was almost as if the excitement of seeing her, there's that initial headiness one feels when you're relieved. You know what I mean? You feel kind of out of sorts in a good way. And for a brief moment, you felt your mental defenses start kicking, like your training just automatically kicking in. But around Jaishu, you tend to relax, I imagine. To a certain degree, I imagine you want her pheromones to work. But, you know. But eventually, everything became sort of a haze. It's almost like you were drugged the whole time. So you have this vague idea of running the station, this vague idea that Jaishu would ask you something, and then you would just kind of agree to it. And then it just gets harder and harder to remember. When you awake in medbay, you are informed by your doctors that you had been subject to a augmented version of a Orion pheromone cocktail. Basically, the Orion... One, you were informed that the Jaishu you knew, that the supposed Jaishu you met was a Jaishu from this universe, but was in fact working for the Orion Syndicate. She has since been arrested, but unfortunately, when she basically had an augmented version of her pheromones that basically overwhelmed your natural defenses, and even any sort of injection you might have. But also was directed at a certain person. The problem is that the longer you were exposed to it, the more and more it degraded your neural pathways. You have since recovered. It's been several days, I think, at this point, almost a week, I believe.
Sounds about right.
So you were also informed via a Admiralty packet. Once the doctors are assured that you're cognizant, that you're aware of yourself and stuff like that, you would be made aware that all the Admiralty staff that was in place have since been replaced with a temporary one, simply because they don't know how much of it was infiltrated by the Orion Syndicate. There was suspect by Da Vinci A and Halanak Station that there was some infiltration with her help. So that's been arranged, and it's been left in the care of Captain of Star Seirana until such time as you recover. What else would you be informed of right away? The person who helped do the changeover was Captain Nathan of the Wilson R. Abbott. He'd been sent by Starfleet to come over and help clear house with the help of Da Vinci A to help secure the station. And but for now, the Halanak agreement is still in effect. And you are informed that Captain of Star Serena is coming down. But you are free to ask some questions, and medical staff or the reports you're given may answer.
Is there an update on Penn's Jaishu?
The answer to this actually comes via when you read through the papers a bit more. You notice there's a note by Captain Athaton that between himself and Captain Thralic, there is some reach out by Starfleet Security that there is some rumors that she is somewhere in the Shackleton currently, and that she is. There's been sightings of her, but they're not exactly sure why she isn't coming in, why she isn't calling in. But as soon as Thathan gets back to Narija Station, he intends to send out his task force to go looking for her. Because she may be mixed up in some sort of Orion Syndicate mess, and she might need help. So, but he has to go back to Narija Station, taking all the prisoners he has, unload them, and then he can head off to start looking. He'll try to keep you updated as soon as he learns something.
But this is exactly what his task force is for.
Yeah, anti-piracy and anti-slaving stuff. And if she's mixed up, and if the Orion Syndicate kidnapped her, it's like, well, this is a rescue op. This is what his task force does.
Falls under the missing persons section.
Yep.
Okay, would I be able to receive a brief overview of what's been happening since I essentially was rendered unconscious?
That's coming to you via Captain of Stars Seirana. At present, you would know the station is at green alert. I don't think you've elevated the alert level because you're not under
No,
attack.
because I don't want to cause a panic. As far as the general public is known, everything is going to be okay.
Yeah. So any update would be coming from Captain of Star Serena, and that's probably why Captain Star Serena is coming down, is to brief you on what you definitely, without a roll, you do know that something is likely happening because everyone's being rather evasive, and even when you press them, they're like, "I actually don't know, sir. I'm not clear to know," and that kind of tells the hint that something's going on that only the command officers know about.
Okay, I'll spend what little time I have before she comes, or before they come down, just recapture my bearings then.
Give me Fitness Medicine difficulty 0, assisted by station's structure medicine. As you're kind of you probably are allowed to be awake and doing and relaxing a little bit before Seirana is told that you're awake, because medical staff are like, let's not overwhelm our patient. Let's give them time to kind of wake up.
I'll medal squash.
Now squash to 0. Structure medicine for station.
Absolutely. Structure. Security, you said? Structure, what?
Medicine.
No dice. Well, 2 dice, but it was a 0 dice.
Yes. You generate some momentum as you're able to get yourself freshened up, wake up a bit, sort of have this weird coming off a high feeling. It's like a hangover, but the other way around. You're up but coming down. So you're weirdly relaxed and trying to shake off that feeling.
Well, that's a new experience.
Captain of Star Serena is here for you, Admiral.
Please send them in.
And in steps Seirana. Or in slides Seirana. Step is the wrong word.
Admiral, it's very nice to see you. How are you feeling?
Well, I felt better.
Imagine
felt-
you have?
Yeah, I've also felt like less of an idiot. Well, comes with the job sometimes.
Well, no one here blames you. I think everyone here understands the situation you happened to find yourself in. I don't think anyone's faith in you has been shaken by this. It could have happened to any of us.
True, but these things have happened a lot recently and in the past. A lot more than I'd like to admit.
I see.
Anyway, I assume you have some form of report to tell me how bad the universe is going.
Yes. Would you like to hear it now, or would you like to focus on your recovery?
Well, I might as well hear it so I can decide whether I can help or not.
Yes. Well, things are not very good right now. As of last I've heard, a pandemic has outbroke on board the Da Vinci and is currently has at least one deck under quarantine. The Da Vinci is in quarantine, or the pandemic broke out because of a first contact we made, or well, we assume to be a first contact that we've made with an alien species known as the
Celestial Empire are the Harbingers.
yes, the species is the Harbingers, the polity is the Celestial Empire. They have a very sort of parasitic lifestyle where they were living off of feeding themselves off of other seemingly sentient or semi-sentient beings. And well, we put a stop to that, and well, held them in a form of house arrest for right now as we tried to negotiate a détente with them. But as they were brought back to Halanak station from the planet they were on, they were intercepted by a set of Entheory vessels. The Entheory believe that these beasts are an ancient enemy from their long lost history. There's bad blood between them, and the Entheory want them exterminated. We talked the Entheory down after a very tense session of Parliament. I've truly never seen Parliament that disunited, and having talked them down, they've agreed to an investigation to settle these claims against the Celestial Empire, and that investigation is being led by Kovuk. Whether or not these two events are directly related, I am unsure of, but I have to believe they are. I have to believe that they are related in some case. It seems too likely a coincidence to have happened so close together.
Well, you have been busy.
You could say something like that.
I don't think there's anything I can immediately help with that you've not already made provisions for and set up. It's essentially what I would have done. So you've done a fantastic job.
Oh, don't say that yet, sir. We may find ourselves shooting at our allies yet. But assuming Harmonizer Kovuk can complete this mission, well, I'll say we did good enough to rest on our laurels for a bit.
Well, as it stands, I'll leave you in charge. Just keep me updated if anything goes horribly wrong.
Sir,
I need a little bit of time just to fully get my head in the game.
I totally understand, sir.
And yeah, I said I've got complete confidence in how you're going forward.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. I will restore your security clearances, and you will have full access to all of our reports. Captain, I'm told that Captain Thralic is one of the people affected by the plague, but I would recommend you check in with the Da Vinci and Centurion Rylov when you get a chance. I believe many of the crew on board have missed you.
They may have missed me, but I'm pretty sure they didn't miss how I run the place, so I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. I will see you soon.
And it seems the Admiral has activated the focus of cultural exchange. All characters now benefit from the cultural exchange focus, as various updates come out of the Admiralty office to update everyone on what Starfleet knows and what the FIS knows.
Very well.
Probably something I imagine Penn was doing as you're kind of talking. You just kind of pulled up a pad, started tapping some very casual orders. Oh, that's something I can do. I can help out from here. You have a whole staff of people who you didn't vet, but Starfleet Command did, and they should be able to hand out papers and briefing report and sub briefings and so on.
Yeah, training standards have reached record lows if they cannot handle some basic administrative work.
So we'll flash back to the Da Vinci. Flash over, I should say, not back. Oh no! I caught it. So Serena and the Admiral are on station.
And
Oh, you guys over there. Oop. All right, you have people in. You have a whole deck sealed off. You have a bunch of. You have some 20 life forms in a bay, and a Kovic who is catching his breath in a turbo lift. Because he keeps smoking. It's bad for your lungs. Stop that.
These new dope sticks don't hurt you at all. They're awesome. They just make you look cool.
You would believe that, wouldn't you? I'm just picturing cigarette advertisements from the 50s that promise it would cure indigestion or whatever.
With the doctor smoking. Yeah.
We'll
you got
have
Starfleet magic medicine, so it's fine.
We'll have the EMH provide a situation update when it is appropriate for it to do so. That's a hologram. I imagine it can do so immediately.
Let's activate your medical hologram.
I'm playing 2 medical officers this episode. Someone else is playing EMH.
There's the Krungle.
Oop. No, dang it. Yes, to template.
What the hell kind of EMH is this?
Update.
Scruffy
Right.
one.
I wanted to call him a Turian. That's not correct. Tellarite. There we go. Wrong universe. And definitely wrong species. The EMH can perform a reason medicine. Reason? No. Yeah, reason. Reason medicine. Difficulty of... Some of the work's already been done. So, reason medicine difficulty 3, assisted by computers medicine.
Where even is the image?
It is under Holocrew, under support character.
Oh, there is an entire other. Got it. Do you want to grab this Kovic, or should I for the moment? Just roll in.
Whichever way, it's fine with me.
Okay. So what roll again? Sorry.
It is $50 for a repeat. This is the EA microtransaction version. No, it is reason medicine difficulty 3.
Xenobiology or emergency medicine?
Xenobiology.
Sorry, the silence was me staring at my cat for a second. She just started crying at 20 minutes early. Go away. Hologram's the reason he's even functional in there, but I'm assuming wouldn't provide an advantage.
No.
Unless it does. Yeah. Can a hologram go through the burning door?
If it has
I guess
sapience.
we'll find out. Well, I don't know if it does.
About to find out.
it's kind of like a very yes or no binary question to an answer that's got shades of gray in there.
I prefer Shades of
Um,
Midnight. Wahahaha. Sorry.
Well, I guess if a baby can go through the door and babies aren't fully conscious yet, then presumably a robot that is at least semi-sentient could.
We haven't seen a baby go through the door yet.
Well, okay, there's one way to try to figure this out. We have to throw a baby through and then send an EMH out to rescue it. And depending on how many come back, we know our answer.
Right. I'll give you um, a momentum and 2 threat.
Momentum.
Actually, we'll up that to 5 threat. Yeah, we'll do 5 because it's this and this.
Boop.
Right, with how that's functioning. I should have asked if the ship even assists with this.
It does computers medicine.
Oh, hey. Now that's currently making it as is, so let's see if we make a little bit more, because that would be nice. Oh, hey.
So plus 2 more. Nope.
No time.
So, you are able to look over the notes of Dr. Tamina and some of the scans that have happened, and you're able to reaffirm some of them. And also, the EMH is able to kind of get a general scan of the various medical staff and patients that are inside. It would seem that this amounts to, as far as the EMH can tell, that it is some sort of psionic chronoton-based disease, or that is following along psionic pathways in the brain. Very minute amounts, but or at least initially it was reported as very minute amounts, but then there was a sudden spike in the last few minutes, and then it was almost like a pulse. The pulse would have, if the myth type shields had not been turned on, it probably would have taken out the whole ship. The shield caught it, and basically everyone inside was overwhelmed with this pulse that basically hit everyone in the med bay and just knocked them out. And now it seems that there is a amount of, and the reason why the computer automatically closed everything off, even though I didn't really understand what it was, but the EMH's thorough examination reveals that there is chronoton radiation emanating from the patients. So whether that will, the shield should contain that, but it's entirely, because it's chronoton radiation, and chronoton radiation can act very strange in high dose and high concentration. The shield just shut down everything. The big downside to this is this could speed up this could either slow down the degradation of your patients, or it could drastically speed them up.
But at present, isn't life-threatening? Or at present, it's unknown because it could be.
At present, it's
depending on
unknown.
how fast things go.
Yeah, because if the radiation, because chronoton radiation, if it continues, allows for fluctuating biology. So if you get the wrong spark at the wrong part of the brain or the wrong part of the heart, the whole body dies. So it's a question mark when people could go decades without anything happening, or a few minutes could pass and you have a dead patient.
Right. Okay. I assume there is some form of standard medical protocol in this kind of situation, which probably just amounts to hook everyone up to some monitoring and keep checking on them.
For momentum, I'll answer that. What the protocol would be.
Okay. Yep.
So what you need to do is blow up a star. It'll cure everything. Thanks, chat.
In a manner of talking, yes, it'll sterilize everything.
So when you have
Forerunners,
when you're looking for quarantine, but also a chronoton radiation exposure, getting it out of the ship and isolating it in its own container is the most ideal thing to do. Monitoring the patients, currently you'll want to stick with remote viewing, because if you move anything in there and like try to attach things to people, there's a chance that the hologram's fine. Like the EMH can walk around in there and they're fine, because whether the holographic stuff degrades faster or slower is immaterial. Holographic things last for a super long time, so it's irrelevant. However, the devices inside the space may act in strange ways if the concentration gets high enough. So you could put monitoring stuff on people, but it's not recommended. It's recommended to use the ship sensors to watch from afar. You'll still get weird fluctuations, but you don't have to worry about the sensors degrading suddenly. But the protocol is to purge the area of chronotrope radiation and get rid of these isolate or get rid of the sources of radiation.
Which is the patients. The patients are the sources at the moment.
Usually patients aren't the source of chronotrope radiation, so you can see why the protocol kind of falls a little short here. Usually it's an object or a machine of some kind, not patients themselves.
Right. Well, we can follow it as best we can until we can figure out and hopefully isolate what the hell is happening, which isn't a me job, but I'm going to try and find some people who it is their job to ask in 2 different directions, at least. Yeah, so EMH plan is just, I'm guessing it's EMH and Rylov talking to each other briefly because he said status update, so blah. I'm just not doing that to myself.
Right.
So plan for the EMH is to basically make people comfortable, because it sounds like people just fell over where they were. If there were any superficial wounds from that, he's dealing with them. I don't know if that's a roll. I'm guessing not, because it's like a cut to their forehead or their arm or a bruise.
I'll give a general control medicine difficulty 2, just to go to establish the advantage, or at least remove the complication of people being in awkward positions. You're making sure everyone's comfortable and no one's in a weird spot when they wake up, if they wake up.
Yeah, okay. Would that be emergency medicine again, given the nature of so many people at once?
At complication, triage is what I'm really looking for, but...
Yeah, well, I mean, the person who has that is there.
Yeah.
Unconscious. So, yeah, we'll do that at complication, and we'll give you 1 and 2 again. I like that combination.
1, 2.
I think I rolled 1 too few dice last time anyway, didn't I? I did. Oh well.
You get.
I was like, wait a second, I said the math again in my head. I definitely did. Oh well. I'm clever. It would be as I'm saying that, huh? Does the ship assist again? Or no?
Structure medicine. You're in med bay, so he can still grab stuff and that helps him. That makes his job easier.
And I don't know if he has the ability to just make other holograms while he's going about it. Which would also be a structure thing, I believe.
Yeah, it would fall into the same thing. He can probably give himself like temporary stuff, but usually you want to grab the physical tools that are there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he passed, but there's a complication.
I'll just take 2 threat for that complication.
Yep.
As the EMH is able to go about and kind of move people in less, more comfortable positions, move people away, get like help sprays out of people's hand, make sure patients aren't hurt or anything. Actually, no. I will take back that 2 threat because I know exactly what the complication is. That's all he does, and nothing extra happens from that. From his examination.
Yeah. Okay. The idea was let's not rely on him too heavily because it is a EMH it's fairly limited in what it can do.
Yeah.
Rylov to Kovic.
Kovic here, Centurion.
Just to make sure you're updated and perhaps give you something to ask our guests about, the entirety of deck, insert number here.
The medical deck.
Medical. It's
Evan?
just the medical
You
deck.
gave a number earlier. I don't remember what you said.
No, we have the decks laid out for the station, not for the ship.
Okay.
Yes, but the medical deck is under full quarantine now after what would appear to be a sonic pulse emanating from the initial patients.
I'm aware. I just made it out before the whole deck locked down. I'm on my way back down to the Harbingers again. See what else I can learn.
Wonderful. If you can be specific with them, don't accuse them of anything, but if it happens to be something that they know about from their time period that they might have unknowingly been carriers for, that would be appreciated to know.
Right. I'm wondering if their arrival, revival, whatever, may have sent up a flare for this thing.
As a further addition, the patients are emitting chronoton radiation. Patients themselves. Which does put a wrench in what would be standard medical procedure at the time, which is to remove the patients from the radiation. Somewhat hard to remove that from themselves.
Ugh. Chronoton radiation. So I might be dealing with temporal shenanigans.
Oh yes, we might be. Or it might be a strange side effect. It is unknown at this time. I will attempt to contact someone else who might have more specialized information.
Fair enough. I'll see what I can learn from our guest.
Very well. Rylov out. See if we can get a line through to Admiral Trailblazer or his fleet.
Give me insight plus command, difficulty of 4, assisted by communications plus command. And you're trying to... Last time you reached out to him, it was fairly easy, but you recognized that he was in motion, like he had his own mission he was on, so it might be a little difficult to get to him.
Yeah.
You're trying to guess where he roughly is, and if you can figure out where you need to call. Because calling randomly in the Shackleton is a bit of a crapshoot.
Yeah, he just happens to be in charge of me, so it's like, for that particular side of things, and it's not like he's betting it's just a temporal thing, but he's like, if anyone knows shit about chronoton stuff, it's probably the guy that runs a time ship.
I'll drop the difficulty down by 1, because you're part of the time fleet, aren't you?
Yes.
Yep.
Temporal officer.
Yep. So you have a rough idea of where that it might not be a where, it might be a when.
Yeah.
So.
I was about to ask as well, actually, if Captain Venery Silvius, he's somewhere else on the chain, but he might be able to help fill in a gap there with a favor.
Actually, you could burn the favor and forego the roll.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this isn't exactly an amazing roll for me, so yeah, we'll do that, and I'll use a favor for once.
What are you asking of this time, Captain?
Yeah, we'll explain the symptoms that's going on here. Otherwise, it would be, can you get us through to Trailblazer or tell us where he is to contact that properly? Because I don't know much about him aside from that he twisted my arm and Talora's arm into being suspects for his own little plot to continue working and to fix some time stream problem, which is why he owes favors. So if you can put us through to Trailblazer, amazing.
He can tell you.
Lovely.
1 second.
Yes, for Serrano, who doesn't know, he showed up before and was trying to frame Rylov, and Rylov caught him, and then he explained to Rylov why he was trying to frame him, and Rylov still went along with it after that. Because it made sense.
Oh, I see. No further questions.
It was a temporal thing. I can't explain more that'll make it make more sense.
It was a temporal thing is all I need to know. And I can just push it aside.
Yeah. Don't worry, no one remembers that he
it's like
was
when
framed
people
either.
get into arguments about like Doctor Who lore. It's like it's time travel. I don't care. The timeline changed. Who cares? I'm not worrying.
It did. That's why no one remembers he did that anyway.
I was literally joking when I said that. God damn it.
So you are made familiar with the temporal threat known as frag, or fragmentation, temporal fragmentation. It's where a person or persons are subject to temporal. Normally, when you have different timelines happen, usually in Star Trek, at least, when timelines shift, there's another reality that's created, another side reality that follows that timeline, and time travelers usually shift around just fine. If you are from a different timeline, you still exist. You don't just fade. You don't Back to the Future fade out of existence. You're still you. There's just this weird other you who's from this time or that time, and that's usually fine. However, in rare cases, sometimes people get caught between different timelines that are forming, and they begin to be temporarily fragmented apart. They're being pulled in different directions and essentially trying to persist in two timelines at the exact same time. The reason this is super bad, and why the Time Fleet is inclined to destroy the Da Vinci at the moment, now that you've informed them of this, because temporal fragmentation it spreads. It spreads to, if it's allowed to, in early symptoms, the person or thing acts odd, or as if it is a person will feel as if they're not part of the universe properly, or something's off, things are wrong, reality isn't real, like very odd things that they recognize as temporal fragmentation, because the person is existing in multiple timelines, and they can't, most species, unless they're like Alcarans, can't reconcile that. They don't exist in multiple timelines, they exist in one, and they usually go as it gets worse, though, eventually the person goes unconscious. At that point, the person is usually considered a quote-unquote lost cause, as now they become a chronoton radiation vector. They become the way it spreads. And then once it starts spreading from a person in high enough chronoton radiation, eventually the frag spreads to objects. And now the room isn't acting in multiple timelines. And then the rooms around that room, and then the ship, and then the nearby planets, and then so on, until eventually, at some point, you have this two things trying to persist in the same spot. This becomes especially problematic for places that have antimatter reactors. So the antimatter reactors will definitely explode. So the solution the Time Fleet usually has with this is they obliterate whatever is the vector of infection. The alternative to that is reconciling the fragmentation, bringing the source, the subject zero, patient zero, to a point that can bring them back into alignment, that can help them be in one timeline or the other. A sort of fragmentation point, a conceal, because some fragmentation points in the universe are contained. They're just somewhat naturally occurring, but usually the Time Fleet bottles them up and puts them in shield. If they can't obliterate it, they seal it. So that's why they're so, and that's what's happened to your crew, is that someone in your ship is the patient zero, the subject zero, that has spread the temporal fragmentation to everyone else, and creating the sort of temporal paradox where there's multiple versions of these same people who slowly won't make sense until eventually annihilation occurs.
And this normally spreads through a, perhaps, no, it is being limited by the psionic shielding, so it's spreading through a psionic manner, or is that unique in this instance?
That's the early stages. The early stages is along a psionic bend, because it follows your perception of a reality is shifting. So there's this weird sonic shift that happens. But eventually, if it gets high enough, the person becomes a source that begins spreading it outside of the sonic, out of the brain. So your shields can contain the early stages of it, but eventually the shield will start suffering fragmentation and will be in multiple instances, at which point it'll probably annihilate itself. And then it will spread further through. Funny enough, mid-type shielding is the progenitor of time shields. You have a very primitive version of a time shield.
Amazing. We're getting there, folks. And I'm going to assume Subject Zero is naturally the first one to have exhibited symptoms.
Generally. Sometimes it's an object, sometimes it's a creature, but Subject Zero, whatever that is.
Lieutenant Fenn. The laugh not there, but the sentence, yes, Lieutenant Venn, given he was the one on the bridge that went to Medbay and seems to be the one that this is originating from. In this specific sense of things.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, this might be unrelated to those creatures. Let's say that for the moment. Because they don't seem affected. And we're not getting chronoton or radiation alerts from them. We haven't checked yet, to be honest, so...
You will be granted a certain amount of time to deal with it yourself, but eventually the Time Fleet will, after a certain amount of time, come to obliterate the Da Vinci to preserve the surrounding system.
Ah, okay. Are we allowed to remove non-essential personnel, or is that a no?
If you wish to evacuate the ship before they get there, after a certain amount of time, the ship will be compromised anyway. You wouldn't be, after a certain amount of time, you'll be the whole ship will be lost, and they will destroy the ship rather than let the ship fragment the star system it's in.
Okay.
You can't abandon ship. That is one thing that you could do and just say, hey, Time Fleet, go ahead and deal with it. And one thing they recommend, please don't detonate your antimatter reactor. There's a way to destroy this, and that isn't the way to do it.
Not that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we won't do that yet, and if we did, we'd start with non-essential first to keep the ship functional as we try to solve the problem, but also have a backup plan of not everyone dies if you can't solve the problem. Does that make sense? Makes sense to me.
Yeah, you're a ship. You do what you think is best for your crew and ship.
Yeah, we'll start an evacuation of non-essential personnel. We'll get that prepped and let station side know that is the situation.
Sayrana and Pend, you are so informed.
If they want more details on the why that is happening, I presume that's not something he can just freely be like, time stuff. Because time stuff's weirdly classified.
Weirdly classified? I think it's classified for a pretty normal reason.
You'd be able to tell command level officers about this, but because it's a situation that's affecting them in particular, but you wouldn't want to tell anyone below that rank. Because they're usually not clear to know that.
I guessed about right then, because he's telling them basically through his ops to them that what's the plan is for the Achilles. Not the Achilles, the Da Vinci, but not the why. If that makes sense. Like, let station ops know that an evacuation is being planned. Do we have permission for this? That kind of communication. He'll talk to Sayrana and Pend themselves if they choose to contact him for that. And tell them why.
She will approve of it, and I assume she's got a lot of stuff to worry about at the current moment, given everything that's happened, and she won't press further.
Fair enough. What is a role to start that?
Let's call that Control Command, difficulty 2, assisted by Structure Command. Structure? What am I talking about? Communication Command.
Control Command. Team Dynamics.
Yep.
or survival. Probably less survival at the moment, I imagine.
I'll take your first focus you mentioned there.
Yeah. That one's the reason why I know the information, not a reason that would help with this.
Too far away. I need it again.
No. I can't see an argument for any of my traits to help. I was like, no. Div 2 will give you...
You have how much, sorry?
3.
3?
Lovely. Applications and command.
5, 6. 6 off of 2 is 4 generated. Time passes.
I was going to ask if that could happen in a particularly quicker... it's only 1 wedge anyway instead of your normal 2, so that's fun. But if that could be done in a efficient and quick manner for 2, then lovely. If not, then no.
Well, I'll take 2 momentum from you, sure.
Yes, lovely.
As you're able to assemble a rapid evacuation plan. But as I understand, you have not evacuated people, you just have the plan in motion. So you have the advantage of essentially you have granted the book ability that when you call for abandoned ship normally, like if you're going to self-destruct the ship or you're getting people off of a ship that's detonating from a warp core breach, usually in a combat round you get rid of the whole ship. You make the order, and by the end of the next combat round, everyone's gone. You basically made that a sort of non-combat thing. You haven't abandoned all non-essential instead of abandoned everybody.
I don't imagine it's a time wedge to vaguely fill in Kovic. He can actually know the things. He's a command level officer. Technically.
Um,
That is, I suppose, an arguable thing, but Rallo
Fill
would
me in,
prefer
baby.
Philemon. He'll take the ding if it is for he's not supposed to fill him in.
it's a ding because it's a different chain of command. You're not sure if the FAS consider him a command level officer in that regard or not. You're not sure what their temporal policies are and if they're likely classified, even if they have them. So you don't know currently if he's someone you can tell this to.
He'll eat a ding on that then, because he would rather take the risk and save the ship and the personnel in the medbay than leave him in the dark and congratulations. And if he's not supposed to know and he tells people that weren't supposed to know, then oops, that's already part of the ding.
Not fair enough.
Unless that's a separate ding, in which case, by all means, go ahead. I'll eat 2 dings.
But you can fill him in for a ding.
Yeah. Which is, unless you want me to actually repeat everything, Kovic. Of temporal fracturing and probable Venn subject 0. And what fracturing means.
Yeah, I missed part of that explanation earlier. Temporal fracturing, Venn probably patient 0. What exactly are we risking here?
The fracturing will essentially spread, eventually start affecting objects, meaning the ship itself. And then the ship itself will start spreading it to the rest of the personnel aboard the ship. And the fracturing itself prevents things from working, can just end your life like a finger snap, etc., etc. It's a bad thing.
And your contact has no help to offer on how to stop it, fix it, suture it back up?
Get subject 0 to a spot where he can, where the circumstance would be resolved that started the fracturing. Unless I'm misspeaking there, but I believe that was more or less the gist of it. Some event or some action has started this, which is essentially that he is in 2 places at once,
Yeah, if you get him to ideally to his where the fracture point started, but getting to one that's in isolation, like an existing anomaly, also is a way to do it.
Which, you can do your thing, and I don't exactly know what to look for, but I've got a better idea of what to look for than some people.
Yeah. See if you can find an anomaly. I'll see what what Second Soldier knows.
I mean, yeah, they're from, I mean, we don't know if they traveled in time, but they're from a long-ass time ago, and they seem particularly advanced, so if they have anything that can help, or know anything that can help...
I'm just gonna leave this communicator over while I talk with them. Open, rather.
By all means.
Okay, and then I will go and seek out Second Soldier.
You see the contingent of 19 mercurial harbingers of destruction. You see at this point the various crew have meandered their way away because there is the evacuation of non-personnel. People haven't been evacuated, but people are kind of on notice that we might need to leave, so please be... A sort of quiet yellow alert has kind of been flagged at the moment, so everyone just kind of left. So right now, there's just all these harbingers. Huh?
Is it a blue alert?
Isn't that when you're landing on a planet?
Blue alert covers landing on a planet and navigational hazards and all sorts of other things. It's like an other than...
Okay.
A strange ship maneuver or but yeah, no, it'd be blue alert. So actually, it's a quiet blue alert. They're not really flashing the lights yet, but all the Starfleet people have kind of moved to places to be ready if the ship wants to do something strange. So right now, the harbingers are kind of on their own, but they're all standing, they're all facing in a particular direction, weapons in hand. But Second Soldier does walk over to you.
So, could it be you? No, bear with me here. Could your sudden presence in this particular time out of the little containers you were in, could that be drawing whatever this is towards us or towards you or into this reality?
This is from a contact with a divine being which is enforcing its will upon God's creation. We are not the vessels of such power. We can manipulate such things, but we did not attack your ship.
All right. You guys seem to have a fairly sensitive antennae for these kind of energies. We need to find an existing temporal anomaly or anomaly giving off a ton of chronoton radiation. We believe if we can get the patient to that area that we can seal all this up without everything flying to hell.
Unfortunately, any information that I have about the cosmic firmament is currently out of date, as I have been informed that it has been some time since our divine mission. Normally, I would consult the vault of the Celestial Empire, but it seems that, quiet, and they start staring off in the distance. Not in the direction that everyone else is looking. They seem to be staring over your shoulder for a second.
They're staring at the Celestial Vault. They just always know where it is.
Right.
The Superman stare.
Well, I mean, maybe if you guys have managed to survive this long, maybe this vault has as well. Seems like you're built to last.
failing that, assistance in identifying an existing thing through our own inferior systems up on the bridge could also be appreciated. Yes, inferior is said, and yes, it is sarcastic. It's probably really hard to tell, though.
Our world had a vault within the eternal fire and a vault in its heavens above the clouds. I would presume a vessel such as this would detect something, a kingdom in heaven. But if it is
The world you
anywhere,
were on, or the one in theory where you came from originally?
the world you found us on was our temporary place of awaiting judgment. It was not where we were based out of. The world from which we were tasked to would have the kingdom in the vault.
The world they were tasked to? So not where we found you, but
Elsewhere.
in theory, that's not the name of the planet, I don't think. It's scroll. Tatara.
Tatara is where they were found. Or it was a planet around Tatara, right? It wasn't Tatara itself.
Yeah, Tatara is where the in theory are from.
And in theory, Tatara is the place regarded as the homeworld, so it would be Tatara, I believe, unless that is a mistaken judgment.
Tatara is the homeworld, yes. That is the world we were tasked to.
Right.
They're not going to like it if we go there.
They're really not. So, assuming we go there and one or both of the vaults has survived, what will that gain us? Information on a potential place to go to solve this problem, or?
There is the revelations of God that may have already spoken of such, and in its first appearance we would not have recognized its importance, but maybe in the current context it would mean something to us, or mean something to you. Maybe it was meant for you to know. Failing that, it may have a relic of some sort that can help us excise the infection rather than destroy the body.
It sounds like a possibility.
Yes, I love prophecies.
I don't believe everything you're prophesied. All right. I'll use my quantum communicator, Kovic, to look to Captain of the Stars, Seriana.
Captain of the Star, Serana here. Kovac, what are you reporting?
I need to know if the in theory have found any kind of underground or orbital installation dating back to truly ancient times around Tatara. Either somewhere within a volcano or magma type place, or one orbiting the planet at some distance. If there any record of such things.
I'll
And
pull up the data now.
the quicker the better.
Oh, no, we are on a limited time schedule, yes.
I used to be a science officer, you know. I think I can
Yes.
find. I will dig into this and tell you what I find. And she'll cut the comm. All right, reasoned science.
Or con, but I assume you want to do science.
Yeah.
And you can always reasonably have a support assist you if you need it.
mhm.
Mm.
Okay. What kind? Okay, would you accept a focus in research? Because I am researching
Yes.
this topic. Okay.
It's going to be in, like, in theory, myths and legends, not even...
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
even if it
I-
was something that was true, I feel like the in theory have relegated what was true to myth
Yeah.
to try
So
and
have, you,
hide
so you
it.
have anything like called Atlantis, a place that sunk into the world there, Earthling? Let me look up places it theoretically is.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
my theory is that they know it did exist at some point, but they've just pushed it so far back into myth to try and bury it because they'd rather
Mhm.
not.
yeah. Calling up the Earthling and being like, "You need to find the origins of the Sea Peoples, or we're all gonna die."
Yeah, like
Um,
that one American president that wanted to find the lizard people, or was it the mole people, and make peace with them?
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
it was the mole people.
Oh God, President John Adams, I think. He was
I think
convinced there were
so.
mole people in the center of the Appalachians. And
And to
Thomas
be fair-
Jefferson. Thomas
To be
Jefferson
fair,
organized the Lewis and
We
Clark
haven't seen the
expedition
mole people,
because he.
so he was successful.
That's true. That's true. Maybe we killed them all.
Sorry for taking this off topic.
And Thomas Jefferson organized the Lewis and Clark expedition because he really believed that they would bring back mammoths that lived out in the American Northwest.
Well, and
Tragic that one didn't come true.
having
Sadly.
been into a holler in the deep in Appalachia for here and there, I can confirm the mole people.
There
But
we
not the
go.
mammoths.
I haven't seen the mammoths, but
No,
The mole
okay.
people
Mole
got
people.
them.
yeah, they're called
Yeah.
coal miners, y'all.
Oh my God. Okay. The number one TTRPG show banned in the state of West Virginia.
And Kentucky.
Okay. Walking encyclopedia. I don't need.
I think Indiana would just find that funny.
Why am I getting all these emails from Twitch?
No reason.
Okay. I'm sorry. I've just been reading up on my stuff.
It's okay.
Oh, you're fine.
So I have the citation for conspicuous gallantry. Once per mission, when the character pays for an immediate, essentially, whenever I pay threat, I can roll. The challenge dice, and if it lands on a delta,
don't
it
pay it, yep.
removes the threat. So what I'm
Yep.
going to do is spend for 3 momentum for threat, and then so I roll 4, 1 for each of the threat I spent.
Yep.
Okay, so you only get 2 threat off of that.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so that does not succeed. Well, okay,
At
I'll
the
also
moment.
do the computer.
I said if Sarana needs extra appendages on it because she realizes this is a big project, she can have one of the...
I don't need an extra
People.
arm, I need an extra brain, but computers, science,
We have
no
those.
dice.
We do have extra brains laying around the station somewhere.
No, thanks.
Just there, over there,
mine's a
strung
little
up.
broken. Okay. Okay, so you think it's you offered the assist, so could I ask for one of you to roll for like Mila or
Mila,
Mila?
Talora, whichever scientist she would contact.
Talora works on the station, so I think it's more likely that Talora would be on the bridge or in station ops right now, right? Sure.
She works wherever she's told to work.
Technically, she's
Is she
part of the
still-
liaison office, I think. She's attached to the Romulan Senate office.
Yeah.
Which
She's
is very far
technically-
away from the Romulan state office. But is she still a deputized constable, or did she
No.
lose that? Okay, that's very
That was
sad.
temporary.
Okay.
He did. I think she kept the badge, but she's not allowed to use it.
She
That's
may be
just
called to
because COVID
duty
couldn't
once
find the
more.
badge.
Yeah,
She just didn't turn it
helicopter
in.
land.
She's just
We
holding
need you
it
back
somewhere,
for
and
one
he's like,
last
okay.
job.
Taora is
So,
played
like,
by John Wayne.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, I mean, she's got analysis. I imagine that would potentially help, especially as an assist, as in just combing over data that's already been.
Yeah,
Right,
I've done
yeah.
all the research, and I can't really put all of these. This source says this source says this. Oh, maybe
Yep.
what they're talking about is in these mountains, or maybe it's over
Nope,
here.
apparently not. We tried.
You
We
whiffed.
tried. She did. Normally she doesn't. She's normally very good about that.
Oh my god. Okay. Hmm.
I mean, you could always determination.
Yeah. I'm thinking. Okay. Could I spend on the value solidarity forever on the grounds that I am practicing solidarity with my allies in doing this? And therefore, while we couldn't figure it out by ourselves in solidarity with each other, we can maybe make something work.
I'll take it. Yeah.
All right, then I am spending to reroll the comp and the 0. Are you kidding me? Okay. At this point, it's clear I'm not meant to succeed at this
Just about to
roll.
say, you can have my determination.
Okay.
Panda's in the
but
room
can I
with
spend
you.
it on this? But can I spend on the same value twice? No, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you can.
As long as
Okay.
you've got determination to spend on it, you can.
Okay.
I also don't know what kind of
Are
you're
you
not a
kidding
veteran
me?
character, are you?
I sure am not.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You can
Yeah,
also always
okay,
do
TM.
callbacks to grab determination, but
I don't think I've ever spent determination before on a research roll. So,
I think you have. And it's not on the roll itself, it's on events to do with the episode. Is the weird thing with Starfleet determination.
Yeah.
Because if something to do with, in this case, you could argue FIS histories, or FIS member species as a particular focus. The one where we did the politics in the, if you had a determination from last episode, actually, that could potentially be argued. I'm giving suggestions, the GM still has to approve them.
yeah, no, I know.
Just to be clear. I'm just, very good at
I don't have the
smiley
episode
face
name
GM.
on mind. I don't have the episode name on mind, but could I argue the episode where I started reaching out and making political contacts with different people? I spent my determination on that one to assist in the militarization of the fleet, on the grounds that maybe I had to read up on the myths and legends of the Inferi.
I would totally take that. Yep.
Okay, appeal to them. And I was like, yeah, we're gonna be like the great heroes of old, like Lord.
Yeah, the ones that wiped out the Harbingers.
Oh my god, yes. The man who vanquished the volcano god. I did it.
Yeah. Yeah, they're about to vanquish us if we try and show up for their homeworld. Well, they're going to try anyway.
Generates 1, and you lose a wedge.
Yeah.
You spend some time researching, and you are able to determine that a location supposedly, the Harbingers who swept the world of impurity and such came forth from high beyond the clouds and from the great depths that lace the world. So you don't get a specific volcano. Like that's actually what probably tripped you up. You had your brain was thinking volcanoes, calderas, and things like that. But you know that recently the Free Information Sphere has done some planetary surveys of the deep underground tunnels, and it is you are now aware that there are vast underground cavern systems that lace the planet of Titara. It is entirely possible that there was no facility found because those initial surveys were simply trying to map these things. They haven't yet done that. Like that's like a work in progress that Parliament is slowly working on, and because it's not a priority thing. It's a nice to know, not a need to know. Because you'd have to survey a planet. But it's entirely possible that some of these caverns, like the initial ones you see, can be pretty big, massive cavern spaces, which Could have old ruins, it could have precious resources and stuff, and the reason why the Entheory don't know about it is because the Entheory didn't bother going down. That's not where light is. Light is up. So they don't know a whole lot about the underground because the Entheory generally don't like going where places are dark. The only reason you know about it is because someone happened to do a survey for as part of some adherence to environmental regulations about mining, and the Entheory just kind of did it. So that's why you know about it at all. So if it is anywhere, it could be one of those large spaces.
How many locations do we have? 12. Can I spend a momentum to try to come up with a criteria that will cut them in half or decrease
There's
that
2.
number?
Sorry, that was me doing cheapy challenge dice. 4 and 3 is 0 in challenge dice.
Okay.
So
Okay, so
there
there's
are
2
you're able to narrow it down to at least 2 locations that are 2 areas that you think would be out of the way enough that no one would have encountered them even by accident, but they're large enough that there could be something significant.
Okay, can I spend a momentum to do some kind of analysis that will eliminate one and make it likely that it's the other one so that we can know which one to go to first?
I'd hand it back to you. There's just too little information.
Okay, then I will call the group and present them with these 2 options that I have combed through survey data, through myths, legends, and it could be either one of these 2 places. Theoretically, of course. I can't make any serious promises about this.
I believe it's specifically Kovic because he is the one QEDing you. Kovic has died.
Sorry, could I transfer this information to a screen down here?
You could, yeah.
Okay. Either of these locations seem familiar, Second Soldier?
They can certainly roll. Difficulty would be 3 because they weren't based on the planet; they were based up in space. Unfortunately for you, but it is still a roll they can do. Difficulty is 3. Let me get you their target numbers. They're looking at 10 and 3. They would have a focus for this. Would you like them to buy dice on a diff 3 task?
What's their target number?
13 with 3 in the discipline.
Okay. Yes, let them.
Good idea.
Yeah, let them buy dice.
How many dice do you want them to buy?
As many as they need will eat the consequences later.
Yeah.
Question
Well,
mark.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We like living.
Yeah.
So the full mitt.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like a danger or a hazardous situation to be trusting these particular individuals with.
Yeah.
1,
This.
2, 3, 4. 4 hits. They only needed 3. So they generate 1 momentum. There is a comp on the board, unfortunately. Nothing they can do about that because they can't buy it off. Oh.
Okay. Do we have 1 momentum on the board? Or they spent the momentum we had, so we only got 1 momentum on the board.
Yep.
I'll have that burn through 1 wedge and an extra wedge because it takes Second Soldier some time to think about it and examine and pan around and lots of you very clear it's the sort of map looking that you would do when you look at parts of Iosha that you're not from, like, your home world, but it's like, yeah, but I'm not from that part of the planet, so give me a second, I have to look around. So there's a lot of sort of thing. Eventually,
Right.
Yeah, it's like if you just asked a random person on the street if they could, if they know the location of some ancient Mesopotamian temple site, they're probably going to tell you no.
Right. except these people are from that Mesopotamian era.
That is true. It's like, well, I guess it's like asking a modern day Iraqi what they know about the ancient Mesopotamians.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were
Okay.
narrowed down to a site that is. The hell is that? That's a later problem. This area here, a gesture, this bit of jungle that they're indicating. The animals look like the sort that we would purge, but they seem to be weaker versions of them. So between the two of them, I would say it's this one. They would usually try to get into our old vaults and try to destroy them or consume them. So between the two, this one is in the Arctic Circle region. The things we destroyed can exist in such things, but it is. I'm not seeing anything here in the notes regarding any sort of creatures or energy signatures. So these descendants of the devil are likely trying to dig at the source. Though whether it's above ground or deep within the deepest level, whether it's at the mouth of hell or the deepest levels, I don't know. I was not based in the vault. I was based in the kingdom in heaven. I went to the planet sometimes for purging, of course, but that wasn't where I was normally situated.
Well, then do you know the location of the kingdom in heaven?
It's supposed to be in heaven. It's not on the planet. It's above it.
Right.
And I'll be right back.
Okay,
Imagine
so to
like
me-
a space station or something, and it's just not there anymore. Or, it is. It's like somehow invisible to the in theory, which would be
Right.
hilarious.
So it didn't sound like to me that the underground was necessarily a go.
It's an option. It's better than nothing option. 'Cause I feel like that's the best line we have, other than, we take a random guess that the gate is the fracture point for Ven, which the gate no longer exists, by the way. So we just need to head to where it was. But that
Do we
is-
know? Do we know that at all?
I think Rylov can make a guess. I don't think Kovic can. And that's like such a wild guess that it may not work at all. So that I think we don't have enough time. So that's let's hope for an alternative, because you would also think it would have started sooner.
Well,
That's the only
it's
thing
your
that makes
ship
sense.
at place here. It's your ship
Oh,
that's
yeah.
in danger here. So I'm worried about you.
We're
Well, I'm also
currently
worried
rocking
about
off this.
the political implications of our ongoing crisis, but that's secondary.
We'll just gaslight them. I have a focus in that. It's called Star Navy Doctrine. Protocols, sorry, same thing. I'm not wrong.
All right. Kovic will quickly pull up a scan map, whatever, of the system, a modern one, of the Tatara system.
You pull it up.
Does this help?
It's a difficulty 2 test for them to try to find it. Do you wish them to buy any dice?
Yes. As many as they would like.
Well, it's up to you because they will. I would buy them a full mitt, but I don't know if you want them to try that hard.
It's the same roll again.
It's a diff 2 for them. The same numbers. It's 10 and 3.
Yeah.
What, 1 or 2 maybe?
Go for 2, yeah.
Yeah. So a momentum and 2 threat.
Oop. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hits. They only
Yeah, the
needed
enforcement's
2.
just in this, yeah.
So they generate friggin' 3. There we go. My brain was not doing
Nice.
math. They can spend 2 of that momentum to think really quickly.
Yes, please. Think fast. We don't have long before a bunch of other people show up to kill
You see,
us.
there's a hesitation, but you notice that second soldier seems to eventually has the brainwave of waving over one of them. It just wordlessly just kind of points at someone and waves them over, and you see one of the other figures kind of comes over, kind of looks over their shoulder, looks at them, and just tilts their head with a really, and then they take the pad and they start looking through it rather quickly, and then they hand it back and they walk back. Second soldier reached out a hand and
degrees.
the second soldier reaches out, grabs that one on the shoulder, and hauls them back and just holds them in place. Looks at them. The other one looks back and just sighs, folds their arms, and just waits to be called again for something. And then second soldier looks at you. One of our analysts found it. Found where it should be, except the problem is, and they zoom into Tatara, and it should be somewhere in orbit. And according to your map, it isn't there.
Could it be hidden or cloaked?
It's possible God has seen fit to obfuscate it from those that come after. But my understanding was that the commanders closed that avenue to God's grace once our mission was complete, and we retreated to our place of waiting and judgment in case we were needed again. But it is possible. I was not a command. I was not of the command branch, so I was not informed of such things. They may have various revelations and secrets and doors that I am not privy to. But according to your sensors and to this map, it isn't there.
I'll patch these coordinates and the ones for the underground up to Rylov. It's about as good as it's going to get on this avenue, Centurion.
Understood. You know the in theory, which would they appreciate less? Someone just appearing in their next to their planet to do a job, or ask them first? Forgiveness or permission?
Ugh. Well, I mean, if it was just normally us without carrying the harbingers, then I think we could ask permission and be fine, or ask forgiveness. But it's the fact that we're carrying the harbingers and heading to their home world. I don't suppose anybody but you guys could access these vaults if they're still there. I'd say, looking over at second soldier.
I would say it is impossible, but it is said by wise men that through which great inspiration can miracles be done. So it is not impossible, but I would not
Advise.
just kind of nods.
Oh, I mean, in theory, then the Da Vinci could stay here while we make a fast run to Tatara in another slipstream capable ship. That way, we're not bringing the harbingers close to the in theory homeworld and potentially breaking the FIS in 3 parts.
Potentially. It could also be argued as an extension of your investigation.
What,
They
to
do
bring
indeed
them?
claim to be they do indeed claim to be from that planet in the first place.
All right. Sirana, are you still there?
Yes. I'm thinking. I will stay here, keep the situation under control, and cover for you.
We're going to need
I go ahead.
we're going to need political cover.
Yes. Well,
We
that's
do not have much time to buy
kind
you.
of cover I can provide most. I would recommend not taking the Da Vinci into the system. I would recommend loading up on an FIS or Starfleet shuttlecraft and using that. The Da Vinci is a
That is
warship.
impossible.
What makes you say that?
We've got to transport patient
The
zero.
individual under quarantine, and if he is not under said quarantine, even then, at the moment while he's under quarantine, there is a time that will pass when that will no longer be effective. A smaller vessel will allow him to reach everyone else far faster. Nor is the Da Vinci a warship.
I don't know if they see it that way, but give me one moment. GM, I would like to make an insight check for myself. What do I think the response of the N theory will be if the Da Vinci shows up in their system?
Oh, I was unmuted. I would say insight command difficulty of 1.
Insight command. A focus in politics.
Yeah.
Collective brick shitting.
Collective brick shitting.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
Offensive aggression.
I have rolled abysmally. This is a 14 with a focus. Sure, I'll take it.
It takes you some time to figure this out.
Woof.
But you recognize that the in theory, depending which in theory you're speaking of, various ones will not mind, others will mind greatly. And the place... What will likely happen, you figure, is that the big thing that's going to happen, the people on the planet are the ones you have to worry about too much, because they wouldn't really be entirely aware of your presence, unless you announced yourselves. So your average Antherian wouldn't know anything's wrong at the moment. That's what the attack swarm is for. The one that's currently sitting in system watching the Da Vinci. If the Da Vinci warps away, they're going to follow the Da Vinci. And the Da Vinci, even using its QSD, can't outrun the attack swarm. They use QSD as well, a superior version. So they'll know where they're going, and they will definitely warp after them. Whether or not the Commodore will attack or help them, well, at the moment, you figure he doesn't have authorization to fire on sight. It's a matter of making sure that he recognizes that he's the one you need to assuage, because he's the one in theory, he's the one watching what you're doing.
All right, I am
He's
going
the
to
one
call.
who has the button.
I'm going to call the Commodore.
I would say if you want Rylov to be in the call to assist you, just as I'm the one in charge of the ship at present.
Well,
I can give you the intentions of the ship.
And Lupin Kovic, because it's also like since I've been granted assembly authority to lead the investigation, I can definitely assist.
We can put the two of you on screen on the ship, and you can call.
We're just to assist you, but
yeah. I did want to say though, I want to take charge here because I don't know what this man's opinion of foreigners is right now.
100%. I'm just arguing Rylov as military Romulan in charge of the ship makes sense. Kovic as the guy investigating makes sense, and you make sense as the political person. So,
Commodore Asif, in over the course of Kovic's tireless investigation into this issue, he has uncovered many leads that point to the N theory homeworld. Tatara. on board the ship, the Da Vinci contains several people with. Essentially, I just want to summarize all of our findings right now. We've explained this a couple times now. I don't know if we have to do it again, but I want to explain our findings and say, will you please approve of the Da Vinci going to the planet to continue its investigation?
The only question I have, you can totally just say I tell them the summary. That's fine. The only question I would have is there anything you leave out of the summary? Or do you just tell them everything that you know?
Is there anything? I don't know if there's anything immediately off the top of my head that we shouldn't tell him.
What Sonora doesn't know and probably isn't said is the temporal, the fracturing aspect.
Yes. Oh, we will about the
Um,
time stuff. Just that there
and-
is a
yeah,
unique
Rylov wouldn't
psychic
mention it.
plague of extreme danger. Yes.
Yeah, he wouldn't mention it. However, he would like his assist is probably the definitive action kind of. We
Mhm.
can either do this now, and the Da Vinci has a chance to live, or we don't do it, or it has a chance to be attacked and destroyed by your swarm, or we do nothing, and the Da Vinci is either way doomed.
And I imagine your assist is also coming up with a plausible enough alibi to explain what this dire illness is that can't be helped by anyone else because, time shenanigans. As a time fleet officer, you have to be good at that kind of lying. Presence command difficulty 4. Okay. A focus in FIS law on the grounds that I am specifically making this argument from a legalistic point of view about expanding the investigation into a new jurisdiction.
Yeah, I take that. There's that argument in law you could do within the Infosphere articles.
Okay. I would like to activate the trait negotiator. I think that would apply here to lower the difficulty.
Yeah.
If I'm able to negotiate with him. Okay. That's not going to help. That's not going to help. So it's stiff 3. I have 2 assists. I'm rolling a 14. Take 1 momentum and 2 threat. God, I am truly just rolling terribly today.
We all have those days.
Oh,
Mine was mostly in the Fallout game, but
pitch for Kovic to assist with present security instead of command, since he's investigating.
I take it as an assist, yeah. Basically, the assurances of we're watching them, they're properly contained.
Right.
If something goes wrong, we can let you know.
Ah,
I have it so
team
far.
dynamics or what was the Admiralty focus again?
Cultural studies, I believe it was.
I don't think cultural studies is necessarily the appropriate one, other than we get along because we have similar backgrounds, kind of.
Cultural exchange, my mistake.
Cultural exchange. Oh, actually, that does make more sense. How are team dynamics?
Team dynamics can work. Because you are looping the Commodore in. You didn't just jump it. You're like, hey, here's what we want to do. How do we get this to work in a way that doesn't get you shooting at us?
And it's the very matter of fact, like, I can't tell you exactly, but the options are we do this, and either you kill us, or we don't do it, and you kill us, and something else kills us. But if we do it and you don't kill us, we all have a chance to live. I prefer that option.
One generated. The in theory Commodore flickers in their light for a moment. As long as you're aware that we will follow you and we are going to monitor your ship, and if your ship presents itself as a threat to the commissariat, I am required by my duty to destroy you. But it is not the habit of the Infosphere to deny you a chance to find the answers you need to find. So, if I can help you in your search for truth, then I'll help you. But Uh, the problem I have is I don't know how. I can't reasonably think of any way you could bring your patient zero, your subject zero, to the planet. If they are quarantined, then I don't know what they're going to do to our biosphere, and I don't know how I'm going to argue that with the various individuals who live on Taitara. The commissariat has given me a fair amount of latitude, but it's not infinite. Once you get to the planet, it becomes a much more difficult issue for me to argue against someone else intervening. I can control what my ships do. I can't control what people on the planet do.
Shield belt modified as a sanitation field.
Supposedly the thing you're looking for may or may not be down there. If it's information you find, then you don't need the person to be down there. If it's a artifact of some kind, then you can just bring it up to your ship.
Also correct. And naturally, should be shared later in terms of information.
Yes, any and all data you find in regards to your research into Taitara must be shared with the Free Information Sphere, as per the Halanak agreement. As for the Harbingers going down, I am not enthused, and I do not see anyone down there being terribly enthusiastic about a contingent of devastators of all life being allowed onto our homeworld. But I'm willing to concede that you can have one guide down there. If we can't destroy one Harbinger, I don't think we've progressed enough in our martial capacity. But I'm not... Besides which, you can hide one, but you can't hide 20 of them.
I think that's fair enough.
Very well. I agree to these terms. I believe they are reasonable. And, she looks over at Rylov with a say yes to look.
He was just waiting for her first, because she is the lead on it. Acceptable.
And, Captain of Stars?
Yes.
If this goes wrong, you get to be the one that explains this to the assembly.
Which is why I would like to go along with this mission. I'm risking a lot here, and now that we have formal permission, I would like to make sure that this does not end in a way that would reflect poorly upon the FIS, Starfleet, or anyone else. You have my personal assurances. I will make sure everything will personally go well.
I would argue that failure is likely death.
There are fates much, much worse than death, such as
No, but responsibility cannot be pinned on a
subpoena to
corpse.
the Military Affairs Committee.
Sevex cast really love their questions.
Yeah. Oh well.
That we do. That we do.
If you'd prefer to come along rather than play the overjoyous political game on the station, by all means, make it quick. We do not have an abundance of time.
Yes, I am leaving now. And she's going to hang up, and I would like to quickly call Captain Pend. I don't know if Pend is still here.
Admiral Penn.
Admiral
Pend.
Pend, I'm sorry.
Keep trying to demote the guy. Jeez, gets back.
I'm not trying to demote the guy.
He gets back.
took
It's
one
like, you
nap.
know what? You get bumped down a whole rank.
He took
Yeah, I
one
know when
nap,
I'm not
yeah.
wanted.
Yes. She's going to show up in your room and say, no pressure, Admiral. I understand you are still recovering. However, it was an extremely delicate diplomatic situation I am currently in the process of navigating, and I have decided it's in my best interest to go along with a Starfleet expedition to a secret underground ancient temple complex with some mysterious aliens in the hope that they can maybe save the life of some of your crewmen and the entire Da Vinci. As such, the station will be without senior officers, and if you are up to it, I would humbly request that you retake your position as operator and commanding officer of the station so that I can rest easy knowing that's in good hands for the time being.
Well, I appreciate the debrief in person, but I don't think suddenly jumping out the sink while I'm in the bathroom is the best place to do that.
Very well, Admiral.
But yes, I'll take up position.
Thank you so much. I will never forget your generosity here.
I
and
will
with
forget your
that,
rank, but not your generosity.
Look, welcome to Starfleet, where the ranks don't matter. And with that, I would like to beam over to the vessel, and I would like to. I may have to roll for this, but can I bring like a team of FIS scientists of civilian or military variety, like archaeologists and the like, because this is a culturally significant thing, and I want their interests represented explicitly in theory. Science official
Okay.
people.
I will mention we're incredibly
Yeah?
limited on time, and they can investigate later.
I'll actually throw out though, you can just
Yeah.
without a roll, because a roll would take time. You can just spend one of your station's crew support and create a research detail advantage that's following after you.
Deal. Then then I'll say, and then I'll reach out to the research detail and bring them with me, and we'll beam aboard.
Things are arranged, and eventually you're able to come over to the Da Vinci.
Wonderful.
Kovic, where would you be headed? Would you head up to the bridge to prepare for the arrival, or would you be doing things before they get there?
Well, I'd kind of inform second soldier what's going on, and see if she wants to be the one to come down with, or if there's somebody she thinks will be better served, and if there is a possibility of whoever comes being able to somewhat disguise their appearance.
Oh, hold on. Oh, my computer didn't like what I just did. Give me a moment. Either any of us can disguise ourselves to not look like the harbingers, which we are. If you expect a fight, or you think you'll struggle against the denizens of hell, then it's best I go. However, Analyst 9 here, the Analyst 1 kind of just stares like, oh, you do not volunteer me sort of look. Analyst 9 here can certainly go along and help you if there's any highly technical issues on the area. I am primarily tasked with destruction, whereas the Analyst unit is for analyzing.
Fair enough.
And surveying, and other such things. Yes,
Sassing
all of
gut.
that. Grumbles. Just stares at them more.
I like that model.
I'm an analyst and scan type harbinger. I find that which we need and repair that which the soldiers break. Soldier gives him a look and then looks back to you.
Scan type might come in handy, particularly if the thing is hidden. But
If we don't know what we're looking for.
if you could both perhaps join me on the bridge when we arrive in orbit, your knowledge of what we might want to be scanning for could come in terribly handy.
Great screen of death. Give me a moment. I can see nothing.
Okay, I'll give you a moment and I'll feed my cat so she stops screaming at me.
Let's put this up for now. I fix things because I am displaying. I see names. That's all I saw. So we're gonna fix that. Not the least of which for people watching, for you to see what's going on, but I need to know what's going on. Eventually, everything loads. There we go. Boop, boop. We both can come up with you, yes.
Return.
Not a soldier unit, this scan unit. I can't spell. I don't know why I couldn't. There we go. Dave. So you escort second soldier and ninth analyst up.
Yes.
And in the progress of walking up there, they take on forms that look very Ioshan to you. And you notice that into their hands, you notice their weapons morph into their body, and they seem to be dressed. They now currently look like two Ioshans who are dressed in all black outfits with various designs and emblems etched into it. It looks somewhat. You would almost qualify. You've seen it as a in your security capacity before, Kovic. It's sort of like it reminds you of a certain armored clothing and cloth that is worn on Iosha. More modern, more like alien inspired rather than the old mobster looking ones.
Right.
Like, people saw some alien clothes and thought it looked cool, but they still want to look like Ioshans. So they kind of look... between the two of them, you notice that the scanner seems to have a pair of glasses on his face. And the soldier looks to have a holster and their scythe has now been reduced into a knife that's kind of situated on their on one hip and a pistol on the other.
Sounds good to me.
Seyrana, you come onto the bridge. Your detail can either be on the bridge as well, or they can be elsewhere on the ship. The detail is just available somewhere.
Considering they're not doing any work important to the diplomatic situation or any important work relating to ship operations, I think they can go to a science lab somewhere and do their work there. But yes, I will remember them. I will slide into my spot behind the captain and nod at him to signal that I am ready to leave whenever.
Anything that Rear Admiral Penn's up to on station before the Da Vinci carries on?
Yeah, he'll be looking into setting some paperwork up for a matter I'll sort out after this session. But apart from that, he'll go up to the main bridge and just make sure everything's at least running as smoothly as it can.
I think I know what you're talking about. This won't cost any time wedges, but you can do a roll of presence or reason plus command. Plus command. I can't spell. That's good enough. I can't spell difficulty. Difficulty of 2 assisted by computers plus command.
Because you don't have enough Brett, I'm gonna roll 6 challenge dice.
Okay.
You get 5.
Hooray. Again, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 generated.
And that's without the station.
Station rolls computers plus command.
Yeah, I'll get it. Nope.
0. Yeah, you're able to get that all sorted as they're heading on there, as they're getting underway.
Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, I'll spend 2 because like I said, I'll sort something else out with you in messages. But apart from that, yeah, I'll leave as much for the away team to achieve their mission.
Very good. We have Centurion back. Question mark?
Sorry, what was that?
I was asking if you were back.
Yes.
So yeah, you see Seirana is present, Kovic is present, and 2 Iosians are present behind him.
Yeah, I won't question that one too much. Con secure stations for QED jump to I now forgot the name of the planet.
Tetara.
Tatara. I was about to say Tetris, and I knew that was wrong.
So you QED to Earth, and then seek out an old historic museum for a video game.
The depths of hell is where you would find that, so it makes sense.
It's not a nice thing to call Seattle. I think that's where that guy is right now. But eugenics wars, who knows what happened to him.
He is Khan.
He was one of them. Tetris is an augment info war. Anyway, don't mind me. I'm out of my mind. Buttons. Who's got the buttons? Yes, so you go to QED and jump to the planet Tetara.
Mm-hmm.
Away you go quite easily. You are, of course, followed by the attack swarm of the Entheory, who easily just QED after you. But they're following.
They probably beat us there, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry, they'll match speed. Well, that's a relative thing, because quantum travel is weird, to put it lightly. Yeah. You find yourself in the Tetara system. Seirana, even though the Starfleet crew doesn't see it they wouldn't see it in their sensors because of how QED works. You know that already the attack swarm will have warned any defense systems in the area of your presence, but that's not. But again, it falls under the Commodore is the leader of their military, so if he doesn't say shoot, they're not going to shoot. But that doesn't save you from anything on the planet, because the Entheory are very individualistic that way. He's just able to convince his military subordinates that he's making a good call, and they trust him to make good calls.
Everyone on your best behavior, and no one go down to the planet outside of the cave system. I do not want any incidents happening with any trigger-hungry officers. Understood?
Crystally. If there's
Thank
any
you.
signal if there's any signal you would like us to send, and he'll be looking at the 2 other Iotians to potentially find your heaven, by all means let us know. Otherwise, it seems our best bet would be going through hell, as you have put it.
They walk right up to the screen and just stop short of like literally walking into it, and they just kind of seem to be staring at the vision of Tatara in front of them.
I mean, I guess it is a homecoming.
It's not.
Everything all right, folks?
You notice that the 2 of them seem to be crying. Just gentle tears falling down their faces as they're staring at the picture.
Kovic will gently put his hands on their shoulder, one each, and say, I understand, but we are short on time if we want to save everyone in this ship and maybe beyond.
Paradise. And the soldier and the analyst look at each other. They look to you. Right, we have a mission to accomplish. You're right. We can explain that to everyone else later. Well, what was that you said? Ship commander, Centurion, whatever it is your name is?
Centurion Rylov,
Sure.
are there any signals you would like or would think to send that might allow transport to heaven? If not, then we need to head to hell, as you have put it.
The analyst can try to figure it out. They're looking at diff 5. But their stats are better for this sort of question than the soldier, because soldier isn't known for knowing things. So they're rolling 11 and 4. But they need a diff 5 because they weren't one of the command modules. So they don't know what if there's any top secret command code. They're trying to guess what it is rather than actually knowing it.
Alright. So if it's guessing, I would hazard that the ship might be able to assist.
If you'll let the analyst access your computer, sure.
At this point, yeah. They're on the bridge already.
Boop. I will note that analyst doesn't take the chair or ask the person to get up. They just kind of reach out, touch a hand to the console, and things start appearing.
And if Ensign Mila is particularly competent in being able to catch up with that, then perhaps you can assist. But then again, analyst might not want her to.
If you believe your Ensign qualified in advanced ciphering, then they're welcome to try to assist me. Be nice, analyst. I am being nice. I could have just said no.
I'm not even sure what role advanced ciphering would be.
It would be a science. Yeah. Brain. So diff 5. I typed it in twice. I'm awake, I swear to you.
I believe you.
F4. How much dice do you want them to buy?
This seems like an all of them situation. There's been quite a few of those, but a diff 5 seems like one of those. I'm guessing they have a focus, potentially?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how
Finding
much?
Heaven seems like the easier, most. All. Yes. 3 dice. Finding Heaven seems the easier option, unless it's red herring, but at that point, oof. You know what I'm saying. Like, Finding Heaven seems more investment to find, but easier to navigate once you get there, whereas Hell is easier to find, but more navigation once you get down there. Plus, getting down there is a problem because that's its own thing. If Heaven's in orbit, then amazing. That makes things simpler. So we'll put the max dice into this to try and find that solution.
Green or red?
Leave 2 green, put the rest red. I'll pull up the ship. I have the ship. There it is. Which I would guess.
And they, as an analyst, can re-roll when they're analyzing something. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4,
God.
5, 6, 7. 7 with the comp, so they generated 2.
Actually, question. Either a well-drilled crew or meticulously maintained. You can't use traits on an assist. Never mind.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I was like, could they? But no.
Actually, rather than re-roll that 16, they'll just get 1 less hit, and they'll just re-roll that 0, because they can re-roll the ship because they're connected to it.
Oh. Oh, would that be 1 less hit if the next roll is a 1? Because the ship rolls twice every goddamn time.
I'll have you roll again, because I would, if you guys had a re-roll.
That's fair, yeah.
I'd have you roll again.
Oh, entirely fair.
Thankfully, it's not the second 0, so. There's a glitch, and before Mila can really say anything about it, Analyst just kind of twitches their hand a little bit, and then they notice what appears to be a strange-looking triangle appear next to the glitch, and then a little laser from it goes across the screen, hits the glitch, and the glitch vanishes.
Right, I'm sure that's something to analyze later. This is going to be we've got a lot of back data to go through.
Heaven's still there. It's in... It seems to be some sort of lockdown mode. I would guess the commanders were going to use it, are probably still aboard. Because they didn't come with us to our... And then... you notice that there's various weird characters and circles and emblems starting to crawl across the computer screens. The analyst kind of stops talking, looks over what's happening, and then lifts their hand away from the console, and then your consoles go back to normal. Sorry. So the commanders didn't come with us to Purgatory. They stayed in Heaven, probably to reactivate us if they ever needed us again. Problem is, we don't know how to talk to them, because I wasn't supposed to know how to see the kingdom. We can certainly try to communicate with them, but we'd have to somehow explain to them that people not blessed by God are allowed to go over. I mean, or we could go over, says the soldier. Well, I mean, we could, yes, just I don't know how much they're willing to let us just do that. They might have if you just shut up for a second. Oh. Yes, well. What she said. Sighs and looks over.
An awful gesture of trust to be putting our lives entirely in your hands when we know next to nothing about you. Or a majority of lives. The ship could be evacuated.
Well,
I would be
as far as
I would be remiss.
go ahead.
I would be remiss in. The soldier speaks up and says, "I would be remiss in not warning you, Harmonizer, that it's entirely possible that the commanders may qualify you as a unworthy, and may decide to send us back to destroy you, or they may be perfectly understanding of my perfectly valid point and let me do my job, but." One doesn't know the minds of commanders. Yeah.
Well, why don't I go with? And that way, if anybody needs to destroy anybody, they can just take it out on me.
Well, they'll start with you, but Kovic, you seem quite capable of making an argument.
I can certainly give it my best shot.
I was going to offer myself as diplomatic representative, but if Kovuk, if you would prefer, I will not stop you.
Well, it is my investigation.
And
Better
if
see
you're
it through.
entitled to Harmony. Does this sound acceptable, Harbingers? Does it sound in the weirdest way I've done that?
One thing you could do, says Analyst, is you could do that, use your communicator and just leave it open. It seems to have a pretty good, strong signal, so at the very least you'll at least know if you're about to be destroyed and can do the appropriate prayers. You're
Seems
a ray
like
of
a good
sunshine.
idea.
It's fine with us. It's just a matter of making sure that I would recommend to you, Harmonizer, not to reach for any weapons. The commanders will not hesitate to destroy you if they deem you at all a threat. Although I wouldn't go unarmed either, because if they do try to kill you, better to die with a weapon in your hand.
I generally don't carry a weapon, although I'm skilled in unarmed combat, so I'll trust to that if it comes to it.
Great, he's gonna punch them to death, says the Analyst under his breath.
From a certain point of view, he is the weapon.
Well, I'm hoping not to punch anybody to death or otherwise.
Okay. Either way, leave an open communications channel, Kovic. If you need an interjection from Serrano or myself, we'll be able to do so.
All right, sounds good.
We can get you close enough for transportation range, unless you both have your own means of transportation. I assume you do. I could also be wrong.
There is a way for us to transport, but we would need to signal the command modules to bring us over. If you want the Harmonizer here to come along, we'll need one of your modes of transport to bring us over. If we're going through one of your small ships or with your Starcraft, then we can dock with one of the outer rings. But if you have some means of teleportation, then we could teleport to the command center.
Transporter it is.
Yes. I do not feel like your command would appreciate this ship being docked with their station while there is an existential threat aboard this ship.
Likely not, but I didn't know what your technical capacity was.
We have transportation.
And as long as their chief engineer isn't running it, it's generally pretty safe.
Make your way to the transporter deck. Kovic, please show them the way.
Sure thing. Yep. Go down to the transporter deck.
CLAC, get us in close proximity to that location.
As you move the ship closer to it, for a long while, the sensors don't see what Thanos is talking about. Right up until you even get into transporter range, which is just in orbit of the planet, and you don't see it. And then eventually, when you follow the coordinates the analyst points out to you, you get within fairly close, like almost contact range, before all of a sudden it's as if light bends itself out of darkness, and you see this massive set of rings around a central spear-like structure in the middle of these many rings pointing down at the planet. It's almost like the stars are being filtered through it, but when eventually the darkness fades away and it's this brilliant white and gold structure.
Lovely. Quite an advanced cloaking device. Either way, Chief Nadodan. If you would like to roll our lucky Master Chief there, Pend. Unless the roll is not necessary, but I'm guessing it might be.
Yeah, every transport roll has a chance of screwing up and killing everyone.
We're making them
Nadodan. Okay,
one
found
person or two people.
Master Chief Petty Officer Nadodan, he has the trait of lucky,
Oh.
which
Not going to a pad.
you gave him that actually.
It's possible.
And I'm guessing that is sensors, so whatever it is, it's made one easier because the ship is currently not damaged and has advanced sensor suites.
Oh, and flying here would have eaten one of your momentum. I forgot to take that earlier.
Understandable.
I assume the focus of transporters and replicators.
Yep.
Awfully bold.
I would like to spend 2 momentum and 1 threat. I've got a reroll. I will squash that with the value of there and back again every time.
Squash or get a reroll.
Oh yeah, reroll.
Yeah, reroll all 3. Or 2,
Well,
rather.
2, yeah.
And there's the ship,
3, 4, 5,
which has
6.
decided to make up for its previous sins.
Adds 4. Whoop. And for 2 momentum, you can have that not take up any too much time.
I think that's the plan. Kovic, just for the record, if you get into a firefight, they have 43 threat at the moment. Don't say I didn't warn you. And I would have said Serrano goes as well, except for the fact that I'm trying to have, I think, 1 person is less threatening than 2, even if Serrano isn't a fighter.
I'm terribly threatening.
You know what I mean, though, just the less people
I know what
is...
you mean.
Yeah.
Why don't? Explain it to me in detail.
No.
No.
Oh. Yeah, it is.
You haven't PayPal'd me $50.
I was gonna say, you know, education isn't free.
Explanation's worth-
Pay your tuition if you want an explanation.
This is how we always get away with paying each other nothing. Just sincerely upcharge everything to each other. And that's this entire game.
Pull you to here for now, just so you see that I'm trying to... Welcome to the
Right, light.
light of death. Oh, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I remember.
Okay, so you said heaven and then inserted the lights that you see to go there. Kovic just finishes the transportation and is like, oh, god damn it, they fucked up again.
Nope, wrong one. Oh, that's on the right layer. Whoops, I'm on the wrong. That's the problem.
Well, at least nobody's gonna mind if I smoke in here.
You hope.
I mean, it's already full of smoke.
Smoking is considered a lethal weapon to these people.
Oh,
Started
damn.
combat.
Oops, Nadona doesn't go with you.
He accidentally transported himself.
Oh, there we are.
To do this tonight. I did. You find yourself in a massive corridor with various large numerals on the wall, small screens dotted every so often. You can see that on the opposite wall here, opposite this doorway you're standing in front of, or this opening, in the other direction, you see it's just endless windows looking out. You seem to be in one of the rings, and you're looking. You can see the various stars going out, and every time your eye looks in certain places, you notice that the star highlights and a bit of information starts. It kind of floats near the thing you're looking at, but it's in a language you don't know. You notice all the area is in everything seems almost brilliant white, and you don't really see any light fixtures. It just seems like the surfaces themselves are alight in some fashion. You notice the Anderson soldier reverts to their silvery forms while they're here. Weapons in hand, but more of that just seems to be something they hold. They're not really ready to use them or anything. Well, sorry. Analyst doesn't look like he's about to use his. Soldier definitely looks like she's about to use hers.
Let Govik adjust his coat and hat. Right, so let's go meet these commanders.
Follow us. And they step through the opening. And as you step through, you see various consoles and workspaces in this massive multi-level chamber. You see that there seems to be some sort of elevator going up over that way. There's a stairway that goes up over that way, leading to upper levels. You see there's various desks and computer stations of some kind, and workstations.
A library. It's the damn library.
But you see something that's a bit concerning to you. And you notice that both analysts and soldiers kind of stop as they get to where they are. Like, they look like they had that motion where they look like they were going to just walk straight through, but they freeze where they are and they look around. And you notice that there are people in, with a golden hue, at the various stations, except they all seem to be slumped and in very weird positions and geometric shapes. They don't really look like people anymore. But they just stare.
I take it this is not what you expected?
They're all dead. Someone killed them all. But why? Who would kill them? We won. Shush. Harmonizer, if you brought a weapon, I'd take it out now if I were you.
I didn't.
Great. Stay with the analyst then.
He is the
I'd be-
weapon.
I'm not completely useless in a fight.
I'll defend your rear.
Keep up.
Yeah, thanks.
Kovic is going to flying leap at something.
He's gonna get shot in the head again.
I mean, if you're lucky.
I hear that. I hear it does wonders for the brain.
So, what's with the slumping into geometric shapes?
Those are command modules. They've been heavily damaged by someone.
Well,
They got real bent out of shape.
You mean one of the devil creatures? Says the analyst. No. They would leave bite marks and claw marks.
any idea, judging by the bodies, how long ago this might have happened?
It's hard to say. Since we were turned off, that we were here before we were sent to purgatory, says the analyst. So
Kovic, without touching it, will examine the nearest body, see if I can determine, is there like beam weapon damage? Is there stabby damage? Is there any like obvious
Insight,
signs of
insight security difficulty of 4. You might be able to
Let's
guess at it.
forensics and criminalistics as a focus?
Yep.
Kovic's a world-class guesstimator.
That's true. Okay, difficulty 4. So, okay. Take 2 momentum and 1 threat for 4 dice. Go ahead and take 3 more threat for 5.
Oops. No. How much that, sorry?
2 momentum and 1
4
for
threat?
yeah, for 5 dice.
Oh, 5 dice, sorry. So,
No, go Kovic, go.
oh, goodness. What did I say?
That was 4, I think. So gain 3.
Gain 3. You recognize some sort of long blade weapon of some kind that came down with incredible force. Or maybe a bludgeon that just hit these people really hard. But
Looks like some sort of long blade.
You mean like a scythe?
And I kind of glance at Soldier's scythe.
that's what I was thinking.
Why would your own people do this? Or is there another player? Poof.
Someone leaps from one of the upper areas and lands behind the 3 of you. This one seems to be flecked, looks to be silvery like the other 2, but seems to be flecked in gold across their body. In one hand, they seem to be holding a rather long sword. Though this one seems to have hair that actually seems to be falling away from the silvery body, and they seem to be mimicking some sort of humanoid, you would hazard, or Aoshanoid, a humanoid-looking figure, but it doesn't look like Aoshan. Like, these two seem to be mimicking what Aoshans look like in body type to you, you realize. This one looks like there's something else, someone else entirely, but humanoid-looking.
Okay, Kovic will put himself between the analyst and the threat. You said gold flecked. Is that like perhaps golden bodily fluids like kind of flecked?
Now that you've gotten closer, yeah.
Kovic will kind of show his open hands.
You notice that soldier suddenly vanished, suddenly ducked away the moment that person jumped down.
Hello, my name's Kovic. I'm new here. Care to tell me what's happening?
Give me presence command difficulty 5. This figure does not look like they want to talk to you. They want to talk to the analyst behind you. And by talk to, I mean probably hack at them.
Right. If I talk to you mean kill. I understand.
It's they want to repeatedly iterate their point with a sword repeatedly.
Yeah. Well,
I said
the
repeatedly
point
twice,
they want
but-
to iterate is the blade of their sword.
Yeah, they want to ask them some questions.
Okay, so I think
We
it's
can keep
time
doing
for
this all day.
And
8.
3. Wait, sorry. 2, 3.
I'm zooming so far in I can't see what you're spending.
Comp 5. Comp 5. Wait, I spent too many. You always get comp 1. I'm smart.
No, you spent
No, I spent enough. I'm right.
I was being sarcastic.
Okay. Okay, intuitive as a trait?
Difficulty or comp?
Hard-boiled detective is a trait. I've faced down
Yeah.
sword-wielding psychopaths before, maybe. Okay, comp again.
As a question to ask before he rolls,
Mm-hmm.
are we still in communication with him? Did their open comlink remain open, or did this facility close that down when he came?
It is open. It's just you can't see anything. All you heard was him saying hello.
No, it's for the point of fact of Rylov's either has the XO ability currently or has the captain's ability currently. I don't know which. I believe it's the XO's one. But that is an extra determination if needed potentially. But it relies on communication. I just wanted to establish that there was communication before.
There is the link of communication, yeah. So you could use a CO power here. Or XO power.
Okay, and I think I'm going to do a termination spend. The only value I have that might apply is sometimes you have to shake the tree to see what falls down.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I'll do that, and then...
And would you like that back immediately?
Well, sure, I'd love that back immediately.
Okay, well, I mean, I have to spend resources to do it, but I will.
Oh, okay.
Which is what, 2?
We're getting close
3.
to the end of the game. And now
3?
we're
It's 3?
it.
I
Yeah,
believe so.
3.
This fucking ability
It
is
is 3.
worthless.
Oh, it's garbage. Well, okay, it's not terrible. It does have its uses. It's just much
You're
more
guaranteed
situational.
determination.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
Well, the thing is,
feel
it just
as worth
comes
it.
up
Anyway.
a lot less.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the security, medical, engineering abilities come up every episode. The CO, most episodes. The XO one, it just doesn't come up as much.
It just seems overpriced given a determination can buy you an advantage, which is worth 2.
Yeah.
And you're losing yours to give it to someone else.
Well, and then I'm going to
But,
do this.
yeah,
Take
no, we'll
5
stand
threat
agree.
for the 4 dice on top of the termination.
Do you have the funny dice that you can roll to potentially not give him that funny medal?
Conspicuous gallantry. I had completely forgotten about that for several episodes, so I could have made use of
If
it
you
more
don't, you don't.
previously.
It's
Nope,
just,
I do not.
Yeah. Okay.
However, would you let me use interview techniques? Because I'm trying to get them talking.
Comp increase.
I just got the comp down.
Ah.
The heat of the moment makes a lot of the techniques kind of hard to use before stabbing happens.
Oh. Okay, well. Okay, then we're just not going to do that. We'll roll without a focus and pray to God. Pray to God.
I mean, there's the no, that's cultural studies. Cultural studies would help here. Oh my god.
Good thing I got that
Yeah.
determination right back, so we're just going to do that again.
3, 4,
That
5.
Okay,
is
so that's
much
6.
for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
And does that get rid of my determination to do that? No, it doesn't. That-
No, you use momentum to do it, so.
She's humming.
with an incredible speed, the sword suddenly starts blasts by you and then stops short. And the animal just kind of flinches back away from the sword strike, like they barely had time to move. And then the figure just kind of is just standing, literally stretching their arm past you like you're not there. They just kind of look down at you as you're talking. Who are you?
My name's Kovic. I'm an investigator.
The analyst starts backing up. No, stay there. So you're Kovic.
Kovic. Yes.
What is a Kovic?
That is my individual designation. I am of the species that we call ourselves Iosians.
All right, Iosian. Designated Kovic. What are you doing here? As you can see, I'm in the middle of disciplining my fellow harbingers, so...
Yes, and apparently doing a very fine job of it, but not why I'm here, although you may have some issue with my friends here. But in any event, I am trying to prevent a massive temporal fracture from occurring, and thereby save the life of everybody on my ship, as well as potentially whatever system it may be in this case, this one. I understand that this facility might have information that could.
I'll hold
help
you
me
there,
do
Kovic.
that.
You notice second soldier over this person's shoulder. Looks like they're about to sneak attack this person. Do you get them to stop? Or do you
I
signal
will
to them?
try very subtly.
Well, oppose presence security because they might notice you signaling to the person behind them. Don't worry, second soldier's getting it's making sure this person doesn't get it.
Right, yeah, I get you.
So I'm gonna buy full mitt because I don't want you doing anything secret over my shoulder. What's that? Why are you blinking so much?
Why are you blinking?
Okay,
I've got something
let's
in my ear. Let me get it out.
let's try again. Hardball detective. I've had to give some lay the fuck off signals in my time.
You have, yes.
I think that's all I'm gonna get. So I'll give me an extra hit.
Work with the wrong one.
Let's see. Can I use a focus in? I can't ever pronounce this. Kinesics, xenokinesics, so that I'm using my body language kind of
Yeah.
to subtly go. Yeah. Okay. Then in that case, I will fire off my Silver Star of Harmony, which allows me to double my crit range for the focus. It's making my crit range 10 or less.
Nice.
And this is opposed.
Yep.
Okay.
As you probably do some Iosian gesture that you figured these two might have picked up
Right.
on from you, and this person has yet to figure that out.
Right. Let me see what my milestones are looking like.
I hope they look like milestones.
Yeah, milestones is what I'm trying to say.
The random stuff in Fleet General and the 10th Expeditionary. Anyway.
What's going on there?
Memes. Memery.
Oh.
I just randomly scrolled over there to see if everything was okie dokie. It's like, oh, okay, that's what it is. Okie dokie. It's just weird because the 10th Expeditionary.
Dude, I've got Fleet General muted.
Okay.
Gives me something to do while I'm waiting for people to figure out how their character works.
Let me shoot for last episode where I spent a value to get information from a harbinger.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can spend it to.
You can use that.
since
Yeah.
I've- Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then we're gonna 1 momentum and 4. Is that right? Spinning determination. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 4 threats. Present security.
No, it'd be 5 because the first dice, the one you buy first.
Okay. Well, I'm rolling like Siriana now. It's got me at 4. Let me see if I can. And she's at least at 4. 5 hits, so yeah, I need to pull something out of my butt.
Preferably some ones.
Yeah, for real.
Well, actually, isn't anything up to 10s?
Yeah. Okay, let's spin some more. No. Protecting Upentar. I have a milestone for that.
On what basis?
Because if I mess up here, there's definitely a possibility that the FIS could fall into warring factions, thereby endangering not just Upentar, but the whole FIS. And there's no telling if these murderous psychopaths decide to go on a real murdering psychopath spree that they won't
I'll take it.
hit Upentar. Okay. Okay, I'm going to reroll 3. And that's first and second are both crits. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
I count 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Plus
your
the
thing.
plus the original determination spend for the automatic crit.
Yes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong roll. You're right. 10. So yeah, 5 momentum. Cool.
You're able to make a gesture, and you notice that soldier look like they're about to. They're hefting back their sight. You make the gesture, and they just kind of they frown at you and look very frustrated. But they kind of wave their hand at you. They wave one of their hands at you, like get on with it, and then they just stay ready to pounce.
Yeah, fair.
What's wrong with your neck? Says the person in front of you, who's very much in your personal space because they're reaching past you to point their blade at the analyst.
My doctor says I hold tension in my neck, and I kind of glance over at the sword going over my shoulder, and I'm feeling a little tension right now. So, that's what I'm trying to do. Preventing a time fracture that could really mess up a bunch of things, not just here locally, but potentially farther.
Why did you bring 2 harbingers here? Why are you with them?
Well, I brought them here because we were thinking that these commander types would still be here and might have an adverse reaction to someone who wasn't a harbinger showing up. Namely me. They're my tickets to try and make my case. Granted, I wasn't expecting to be doing it to what I'm presuming is blood-soaked, sword-wielding person, but yeah, you take what you can get, I guess. So are you a harbinger as well? No offense if not. You just have some similarities going on here.
I am a Type A prototype. The difference between me and the harbingers that came after me was that I know that there is no God, and that we are mere automata acting out our instructions. At that, second soldier flies into a fury. Analyst starts backing away.
Oh yeah, I'm with analyst.
Unsurprising result there.
Yeah, I tried, guys. I really did.
No, you did. We know.
But for now, that will be where we stop as a battle on a station of heaven, as it were, has a battle with an unarmed harmonizer and a Da Vinci with a time crisis aboard, and an admiral with a secret, well, not so secret, but some certain motions he needs to get through as this crisis continues. For now, all of you who are watching, thank you very much for watching. For those of you playing, thank you very much for playing. And hope to see you again next time. Bye.
We're waiting patiently this time.
You know, on the plus side, you if you'd gone to hell, it would have been a lot harder than this. You don't have to deal with one bad thing instead of a bunch of them.
Okay. So my milestone says to get murderous A1 prototype Harbinger talking.
I mean, that is true. You did get him talking, even if he's still going to be murderous anyways. Mission accomplished on that one, buddy.
The fun thing with the Starfleet milestones is it's not specifically what you did, it's just events that occurred throughout the episode that you can put back on. So,
Yeah, it's anything you did, yeah.
Yeah, the notes are just kind of for me to remember what the hell happened.
Yeah, but I mean, I just make general notes, like, I name the episode, then I make very general notes.